Peace be upon you, guys, with you, Farouk, and you are welcome in a new video in the beginning. And, God willing, a close victory and a relief is close to God Almighty, and we are all with the resistance and with the men of the resistance in the liberation journey, God willing. Secondly, we started with some separate video series to analyze the operations of the software mobile on the various software tools, and we started the series in a video analyzing the activation of the IDP mode for Samsung devices, through at orders, so we can overcome the protection of FRP. During the video, we explained many important details and information on the mechanism of work, steps, and stages that the operation passes from the beginning to the end, and after we published the video, we have many comments from it from the young people who saw it. Praise be to God, most of them were positive comments, whether they were support and thanks or request to complete the rest of the videos inside the series, and I thank all the young people who exulted for the video and supported us with their positive words, and accordingly, we will complete with some of the rest of the series' videos, God willing, and for the beautiful reactions, this is in this video. Because you can benefit the maximum use of the series' videos, we will consider that this is the first video in the series videos in terms of arrangement. And now, through it will explain to you a very important point and details about the programming languages in general and its rats with tools software in particular. Because of the video, it will be useful, as usual, so we divided it with the form of questions and answers, and we will answer it about very important questions, and most of you need answers and clarification for him, and I personally, when I was learning to Malkik, someone answers me to benefit from this questions. Therefore, I will tell you about answers and details that you will not find anywhere in any other place here, and we start with the first question, which is the available programming languages that we can use and develop software tools with them. And the second question, which is the best language in programming languages, I can use it in tools programming. And the third question, which is the sources of learning that I can depend on, and what is the correct path and the study plan that I can benefit from in the shortest time. The fourth is a question, which is the stages and steps that I can walk on. And the fifth question, which is the programming of the software tools is profitable and has quick material gains, can I rely on it as an income source that answers me money with time, and a sample of the questions that we will answer with each other. And this video will be a little long, and I advise you to see it completely so that you can benefit. And now you are a stump and go down. Subscribe to the channel and do the bell, so that all the new videos will reach you first strongly. Without the presence of any prior experience you have about the field, you can subscribe to us in the online courses for the professional soft and see the mobile from scratch, which we hold in it from scratch, and we know one with concepts and terminology. To some extent, we connect you to the stage of professionalism, God in a short time, and his IPCO, in the description, link the course on Udemy, and also a full video, we explain you to the course of the course and the study plan, and the sequence of the stages of education, as well as an explanation of the way to subscribe to the Udemy website, the way to study the course on it, and the link to communicate on WhatsApp to subscribe and the time. Let us start answering the questions that and start with the first question. Oh Pasha, there are many languages that you can learn and use. Whether Sharp or even Visual Basic, Cli++, Java, and finally the Python language, and the languages you can use in every need. You can develop mobile applications, websites, or games. Or a desktop application, and since we are talking about the software tools, specifically, we will need a language of them to develop a disk. And we are still saying that all of them can develop them, they apply to the desktop. But the question remains what you are sure to ask yourself for yourself, and it is dangers. I finish a language of them? Look, teacher, if you were learning previously programming in any language of them, it remains a continuation in the language that you learned and worked with it, and you will not turn the language again now. But if you are still learn programming from scratch and your goal is to develop tools software, it will still start learning the Sharp language or C++ because they are the most currently used in tools software, whether free or paid. Personally, I learned the principles and basics of programming and OOP principles in Java and currently in books in C#. The most important thing is that you learn the basics of programming in any language and then you choose it. Then you will be able to move from the second language easily. I mean, for example, if you learn to program in C++, and in a very few time because the basics of programming between them are one, but the difference will be in the syntax or the way to write the code from the second language and a little other easy additions that you learn quickly and will not take time to learn it. Cut the time I took in teaching the first language, but if you start programming in an easy language, for example, Bison, it will be difficult for you to move to the languages, like C++, Java, or C#, because Bison's language is different from them. And I can learn it about the rest of the languages in general, because the code that you write in Bison is closer to the English language that we write in our daily lives. I mean, you will not find the code in the rest of the languages. Thus, you will have to learn it from scratch, and then you will learn the C# language, C++, or any other good language. Let us reduce the number a little and choose between the Sharp and C++ languages. You can learn and use any language in them and work with it, as we said, but let me work with you a quick comparison between them. We explain the positives and negatives of every language in them. With applications you will see the Office in general and the applications of software mobile, especially you will say the meaning of the software applications, especially you will tell you because the software programs. We need that we are dealing with external hardware pieces, whether it is a mobile, a computer, a modem device, or any other hardware device, I mean, not just programs. The purpose of which is to occupy accounts in companies like warehouse programs, pharmacy programs, and other programs, because dealing with hardware will be more difficult than dealing with account programs, stores, and other programs. We start in the C++, which, in my view, is the best language in them after the C language, in which you can develop programs and desktop applications in general and the software in particular. Because through it you can develop fixed software in performance and stable at work, and most importantly, it is the fastest operation than the rest of the programs that have been developed in other languages. And whoever makes it always faster is the advantage of controlling hand, in the ZAC era, its address, resources, and the point. This can be an advantage and can be a fatal defect at the same time. I mean, if you will use C++ in your work, you must learn to control the hand and the pasta and its address and learn to empty the Zakar. Because if you did not work like that or you did not learn to work like this, the program is that you will suffer greatly from the slow performance, and it is possible to work from the foundation, because of your lack of control and management of memory correctly. You can use G in any libraries with C++, such as the Qt. Like what you see in the tools of the software, which is currently exist. This is well for the language C++. Let us go to the CARP language, and the most important thing that distinguishes CARP is that it is fully supported by Microsoft. Consequently, you will find many support and libraries related to the hardware in the Windows environment, including, of course, libraries and appliances. We need to occupy us with the mobile devices. You can also designing a Painter user facades easily through the Visual Studio program in a simple and easy way. In a short time, but unlike the C++ language, controlling the Sharp language is automatically completed through the language translator itself. Without hand interference from you, this is what can evacuate the application of C, a little slow drinking, and at times it may be unstable. Unlike C++ applications and programs, which often be faster in operation and their performance, the most important points that I wanted to know about them in order to help you a little in choosing a language from them. Okay, let us get the next question, which is what learning sources that I can rely on, whether you will learn C++ or C#, and what the correct MOS are in the stages of the study that I can benefit from in the shortest time. Currently, I assume that you are not on God, your story, and I want to learn from scratch, and therefore we will divide the education plan in successive stages. I promise you that if you adhere to these stages, then the development of tools from your personal programming in the shortest time, and the first and most important stage, of course, is that you choose one of the languages that we said and start learning it. And you learn the basics of programming and the basics of OOP, through which I mean, for example, if you want to learn Sharp, then look for Arabic courses to teach the C# language. The courses begin to browse and see quick clips of a lecture, for example, from every course, to some extent that you settled on a course of them that will be a person you understand from his explanation. And the way it is presented, and then begins to answer the course from the beginning, study it completely, carefully, and focus, and begin to apply with your hands that you will learn in the course. In order to prove the basics you have on the stage, you need a focus, but the most important focus is patience, then patience, then patience. Because if you see 3 videos in salvation and go, you will remain like that. You did not need and returned again to the 0 point, and therefore you must be patient with yourself and know that you are learning a new need for you. And I will take it time from you to learn it, and here I am not talking about the difficulty, because programming in general is not as difficult. Costume like any profession or another craft, and with time and continuity, things are walking good and thinking about when you are starting to learn software mobile. At that time, you were thinking that the topic is very difficult and has many mobile phones and donations. When I reached the professional stage or reached an advanced stage, I kept seeing the topic normal and I did not need special capabilities, as I thought about the time of the programming. Or a mathematics doctor who may need attention, practice and patience, then patience, because the goal of this stage is that you learn the important basics. Learn the principles of visual programming or programming. Orientation means what you get out of the stage, except that you have the basics of programming and the basics of OOP. Okay, if you are still studying programming or you have a background on programming in general, whether you are working Sharp or C++, or you are working in any other language, and you have the basics of programming, you will move with me to the second stage directly, and this stage is divided into 2 theoretical steps, not my work. The first step, which is the practice and entering directly to the crucifixion of the topic. I mean, it does not have to solve 1,000 exercises or see hundreds of code. But what is required is that you see source code for tool software in the same language that you were educated. You will say, okay, I will answer the smooths from where I will tell you that you will find a lot of messages on GitHub. Whether the tools are programmed to drink, C++, or any other language, and you will give you a little stakes in the sources that you will find in describing this video. Also, you can break the protection for some free tools and see the sword. The world will see how much and take experience from the sequence of code and operations, and the concepts and basics that you have learned begin in the stage that missed. And make sure of it when you see different codes, functions and variables, and you see the sequence of operations and the stages that pass by every process, and we say what we said, that this step is not a process, I mean, you see and retreat only. The second step from the same stage is to use the search feature, confirm the information, and the search feature in general will always be with you in all stages. And the length of what you are working, but I have a basic advantage in this stage, because the process of the education process, meaning that, for example, if you see source code for any tool soundware, as we say, and I received orders or codes that you do not understand and do not understand their job or aim for example, ED orders, which we talked about in the video that missed. Its curtain is very easy to copy the matter that you do not understand and go and search for it in Google and know his job and try to understand the mechanism of his work or its purpose. In this step, I prefer that you use any or artificial intelligence engines like a Cool Engine or ChatGPT. I mean, if you have an order or code, and you do not understand it, you can go to any engine in them. And you write to him in the chat, what is the function of the code, and it works for the code, or the matter that you do not understand, and then begin any Geniti, and it shows you an arranged and useful answer for the matter that you searched for, and you can then understand the information that you want to know and appreciate. As we say, we use this feature with any search engine. It will be working with artificial intelligence, so that it will show you satisfactory results that you can understand from them, and the countries of the 2 steps that you will do in the second stage in Zaya. Because this stage is required is that you do visual nutrition for yourself and see different codes and storage so that your eye gets used to. Okay, just now, keep you stuck and stop the video a little, and go down. Subscribe to the channel quickly. What is required of you in this stage is that if you see source code for any tool, then you start to work from a copy that remains the original even if you take copy-paste codes as it is what you are, as you have heard now. I tell you to take the Cuban best codes. The important thing is to do the same tool with the same operations. And a second tool begins to work in which the two processes or the tricks are integrated by the operations. And keep in mind, you do not think about saying that you work, Kobe best, that the world will walk with you, my yogurt in the mixer, I do not forget, because even if you take the codes Kobe and worked for them, best in your tool, so you will meet different problems and mistakes in the way. Whether problems in the components of the tool, the official destination, buttons, the rest of the operations, or even within the code, functions and succulents, and this is required to be proven, which is that you are the first to see the code and try to transfer it as what is a new tool from your development. The errors and problems that you will face during the transportation process are solved either by searching on Google and browsing the solutions that are on large sites, such as Stack Overflow and other programmers, or until you use the engines of artificial intelligence. As we explained from a little, the important thing is that you are trying to occupy the tool with the 2 times that you choose, try, test them and see their performance, which is the goal of this stage. It is always confirmed that the mistakes and problems are what will teach you and they will be stormed your level over time. Okay, just now, you worked with your hands, programmed a simple tool, and the problems that you directed to our pocket are time that you move with me to the 4th stage, which is that you apply the same as you did in the step that missed, but more. On a complete tool and has a larger number of operations and begins after a full carry tool from your development, and from scratch I mean you start with the design of the graphic destination and the arrangement of menus, processors and bonds. Then you begin to transfer the operations that you have tested yourself in the stage that missed and provide the number of operations, bonds and treatments, one with time. And he focused on me in this stage in particular. I do not want you to take the codes Kobe best, like the stage that you missed, but you want to write them yourself and understand it very well and understand the purpose of it. You are also able to adjust it or adjust the functions and variables in it, because we said that you have now adopted a tool of scratch and no one is my back. Thus, work at your comfort, take your time, and understand the code that you are writing, so that if there was a problem or a mistake after that, and of course, it will happen, its time is estimated to determine it and treat it easily and know its place where you understand the code. The search property will prefer Malazm. It developed and spoke about it and in the operations and bonds supported by them and his consent, as I told you, that if you adhere to the stages that we said about it, it is time, effort, and focus. As soon as possible, provided that you are committed to the stages and come out of the 2nd stage with calmness, patience, and confidence, and we will answer the question of what learning sources that I can rely on, whether you will learn C++, or CarSharp, and what is the correct Masari in the stages of the study that I can benefit from, shortening time. And let us go to the question after that, which is the stages and steps that I can walk on. Boss, Pasha, because the picture shows good and understands it, so let me give me the most simple topic for you and I tell you about some important steps that you will walk on, but in the form of broad lines and successive points that you can provide. First, you must learn and establish good in programming in general, and you have a strong basis in the programming language that you will choose and learn OOP. Secondly, you must apply for yourself all that you learned, but to open source tools and stations for your eye and your hands. Get used to reading and writing orders and codes. As we explained a little. Third, you must work smartly. I mean, you see all the tools that are in the market currently, whether paid from it, such as Bose, embellishing, or free, and whether you work on all these tools yourself or not. The important thing is that you know information and details about most of the tools currently in the GSM market. The purpose of this step is that you see the most operations that have a request and a great pressure. FRP operations or overall protection surpasses for Android bonds, after which you start a new tool that is for you and add some important operations that you have chosen. And of course, this operations must have a large request. I mean, it is not necessary at the beginning that you have a tool of the AIO type and there is all processors, bonds, etc. Because you will disperse yourself. And you will complicate the topic more, and it is possible. Fourthly, very carefully, perform the program with your own, and try to test it on different operating systems and on the capabilities and equipment within a different. Because you always make sure of the stability of the program on the operating systems. And fifth, a trial version of the tool and published it to the audience on the social media and on sites and blogs. Follow the comments and the audience's experiences who used the tool to collect information and experience. Sixth, take care of the periodic updates of the tool. I mean, if you work on your own, you will choose a specific time when you download the tool updates. I mean, you can download an update every month or every 2 weeks according to your time. More importantly, the update that descends has any new additions, even if they are simple additions, or a few, which are always important. And the seventh is the largest one, and take confidence, one, and the point is linked to all the steps before that. I mean, the cart does not start a tool, as we said. AIO is all the processes, bonds and processors, such as professional tools, because you were laughing at yourself first and know that all this is just a decoration. You laugh at the user second because the user is not interested in the tool that is complete and has all the operations and bonds, but just buttons and names only without the result. The actual use hour is that all the operations are failed and not successful, and therefore you are not hurry and start with a few or simple operations, but their performance is successful and fixed, meaning the native of a small program, but it is confused. Oh uncle, she is a Shiite people, you are not alone on your own, and she is a Shiite people, and there is no people who suffocated you, and a blame for you. And it will be the result of its time from your planning, focus, experience, and extent of your development in the field and your familiarity with its details and needs. I mean, you will be able to determine your next goals based on your experience. This is the most important fast advice that you can take into account if you like to develop a tool from scratch. Well, let us now answer the last question with us, which is the programming of the tools of the software is profitable and with material gains. I mean, can I rely on them as an income source that answers money over time? Oh Pasha, and let us separate the answer to this question. With regard to programming in general, you can achieve material gains from it. Whether you work in the field of mobile applications and games, whether Android or iOS, or you are working in the field of web programming and websites, or even it works in the field of cybersecurity or programming databases, and whether you work alone in programming applications and games yourself, and you raise it on stores, or you will work in some technology companies within an integrated team, which is for the fields of programming in general. And who can achieve material gains and million gains as well, but with time. As for profit from the field of programming, the software tools, especially, the topic here is possible to differ a little, and let us separate you more in it. In order to develop tools software and earn from them, your money is two options and two ways you can choose the way that suits you. The choice in the first way, which is that you used to polite yourself individually, and the second choice is that you are a professional team. From some of the programmers who have experience in the field, and at that time, you do not have to be programmed from the basis. If you work on your own and you can program a tool of your development only, you will not wait for a quick gain because you have to go through the stages and steps that we mentioned from a little in the question that missed. And the stages are necessary, and inevitably you will take a time from you, whether it is months or years, according to your emptiness and according to your love for the field and the extent of developing yourself in it constantly. And of course, as long as you occupy your own, the grandfather with you will be limited. I mean, you will not have a lot of money you can spend from them to propaganda, spread, develop and buy tools and libraries that help you in your work. Consequently, in this stage, you must get tired of a little and go down continuous updates to the tool with your sold. So it will necessarily be with it the number of users with your tool, and with time, you will make free advertising for performance and advertising. You can gain financially from the programming of the software in the event that you will depend on yourself and work on your own, but you have to be long and you have patience because the topic will take time and effort. This is the first case in which you can earn money from the development of tools. You will earn but with the passage of time. It is not necessary for you to be programmed from the ground in the sense that means setting goals and putting a business plan for your interests. You are a program team, whatever their number, whether they are 2, 10, or even 1 programmer, and then you start to work with a professional work directly. But the most important thing is that you have money, and most of you will need a lot of money, so that you can pay the salaries of the programmers. He acted on advertising carriers on various social media platforms or pay subscriptions for kisses and guns on the famous GMM forums. In order to be a society interested in your product on it, and also acted on servers subscriptions, in the event that you use external databases online in the tool with your belongings. And since you established a producer or brand and worked professionally, you will need to buy the various definitions that you will use in your tool, whether you will buy it from Microsoft or from any other platform. You may also need to buy rights or license some of the applications or libraries that you will use in your work, whether they are libraries and software applications or graphical facades that you use in your tool designs. This is to be a legal work because it is not all that you need. You will find it free and in libraries or software that will have rights, and you can be exposed to legal assistance if you use it without a license. Madam, you love a big start. You will pay a lot of money, especially at the beginning, to some extent that it is a Republican base of users. And then the gain, Hijiji, with time, like all the paid tools, which you see currently in the GSM call TUL, AFT, Shada tool, DTT, and other tools that started as professional products paid with annual or monthly contributions, and it did not start with free versions, such as individual tools, which will be in personal diligence. And the countries of the 2 methods that you can earn from them by developing tools, and of course you choose from them the way that suits you and suits your ambition and your goal, and the most important thing is your money, because the money, it will have a very large factor in determining your choice and your reason. It remains in a very important advice. You must take care of it. And you earn money from them, whether by selling for life or annual or monthly contributions, because you can mistake a fatal mistake that destroys all that you did. And is structure within years. You must take your very good minds from the points that I have made it clear to you above and be patient, and you do not seek the quick gain without what you do. You must download free versions at the beginning, as we say. More importantly, the continued development on the tool, because you can be fined for time and say I was able. Indeed, people begin to subscribe to the tool with your tool, but with time the situation will turn you, and this gain can be a great loss for you because you will not be able to be at the ambition of users and download periodic updates and continuously. And always support new processes, donations and treatments, and its hours are all those who subscribe to you and the tool, which will be negative propaganda for you, and you will be in your project in your hand. Because if there are no ongoing updates, no one will subscribe to you. And even the people who subscribed before that, they will not renew their subscriptions. And at that time, the stage of free silence will start, and this topic has many products before you, whether free products or paid products. GSD and MRT costume and a large number of products, which was the reason for its fall and its disappearance from the square, is the interruption of updates and support for them. So try to not mistake this mistake, because it is a fatal mistake, as we said. And you will be your product, his reputation, and its image with users, so you can take your mind and do not hurry and focus well and see this video again, so that you can choose your way correctly. Just like that, and I really wish if you took advantage of the explanation, you support us, and you should indicate this video with your friends and subscribe to the channel and do the bell so that they will communicate all the new videos first. And my opinion in the comments, your opinion, and try you about developing the software tools.